Today, I am sharing a healer spotlight. Welcome to this video. This one's a little bit different than my usual ones, but I'm so excited because today I get to introduce you to one of my past students. Her name is Larissa, and she recently completed the Healer program. And today we're going to talk about her journey, about her experience, about so many things, and a really amazing offer that she has. But I'm so excited for you to listen in on Larissa's journey and experience because I have a feeling that you are going to relate so much to this and also find a lot of inspiration when it comes to your own life and pursuing the path of your soul's truth, your soul's purpose, and expansion. So let's listen in. Hi, Larissa. I'm so happy to have you here with me in the Healer Spotlight. And I think I just want to, first of all, start off this conversation by sharing how cool it is. I feel that we've known each other, I feel, for since I was like, wait, is it 2021 or 22? Like, it's been a while. And also, we got to actually physically see each other in New York City this past year. So it's just been so cool to be on the journey together for a while and knowing you in different contexts and ways and all the things. And so I am just so grateful to know you and also to have you here. Welcome.
This is so surreal, to have gone through the journey and now to be here, whoa, it's crazy.
I know. It's so crazy. And I guess let's just start off by talking a little bit about your journey, maybe, whatever part you feel is most relevant, but just your journey of how you got here. Because I remember our first session, you were in a completely different zone. I think you were going to study something with language or something, right? You were doing something like that, like speech therapy. I forget exactly what it was, but it was something. And you were on that track. And now you're here and stepping into your gifts and your true self as a healer. So yeah, whatever feels relevant, whatever you want to bring forward, but walk us through that journey of how that kind of came to be for you.
Well, I really believe that I'm just a lifelong learner. I just love to learn. So yeah, I remember I did have a session with you and I was asking should I go for this speech therapy master's license? And then I started it and I had to stop. I had to stop about a year into it. And I was really upset and really sad about it. But then because I had already created or was building a relationship with the angels, they really guided me through understanding it just wasn't the right time. Yes, we can always come back to this, but there are other things that have to be developed along the way before you get too focused on one thing. And I feel thinking about this journey, being here now, I really, as I was reflecting on this, I really felt like this was my year of saying yes. There were so many things this year that happened. And I felt I just kept on saying yes. I kept feeling spirit urging me to do certain things. And I really do believe that it started off with the Awaken with Angels event because I was on the fence, am I going to be in person? I was will it work out? And then I felt Jesus just tell me one day, you have to commit, you have to go, you're meant to be there. And I really feel listening to Jesus and all the other things that happened after that, that Awaken with Angels event, incredible. I mean, that really just changed my life, I feel but since then, or even before then, there's just so many other synchronicities, you mentioned in the podcast, I think earlier today, no, yesterday, I don't know, whenever it was. But you mentioned the breadcrumbs. Once you follow the breadcrumbs, you
Right.
have no idea what's going to happen. And there were just a bunch of tiny little things that happened. For example, going to Awaken with Angels. As a single parent, it's can I really, afford to go travel and be away from my kids? All those things. And everything worked out perfectly. And then from there, it kind of, I feel that really expanded my awareness of what is possible. Like you keep on, like sometimes we get stuck in these loops of like, I can only do this, I can only do this, I only have time or resources or energy for this, you know? But I feel like that really like, pew, like it just like exploded. And like you can literally do whatever you want, Larissa, anything you want. It's all possible. And so I've been, I've known you for a long time. I found your videos in 2020, like during the pandemic. So I've been listening to all this. Yeah, it's so cool.
This is so cool, and I love that. And I love how that experience with New York. I mean, I feel like, yeah, for me too. It was like a life-changing, expansive event. And I feel like, yeah, it's so interesting though how I feel like through whatever unfolding, souls on the journey kind of connect, find each other, whatever. And there's just kind of like this ebb and flow, of like connecting and walking the path together and potentially meeting in person or whatever. And being able to just know that you're not alone on the path, and kind of move forward on that journey. And one of the things that I wanted to ask you actually was how did that awakening, not awaken with angels, the event, but how did your angelic awakening happen? Was it in 2020 when you found those videos, or did you have like past experiences throughout your life that kind of pointed you to the angels?
Well, yeah, I mean, my family has always been like talking about angels and dragons and talking about psychics and the Akashic records. So like that's always kind of been like in my life. But I feel like there's like this line, right? Before 2020, it was all like for me, spirituality is all like what you receive. Like, okay, you can get a dream, you can get a message. It's just the things that you receive. But after 2020, like finding your videos, I still remember it was Archangel Metatron, and I did the meditation and I could hear him and I started crying. I'm like, this is crazy. And it's like all of a sudden I realized that it's not just like spirituality isn't just like you just happen to randomly receive things. You also have agency, you have power, you can call on people, you can talk to them. And so I feel like it just completely changed my mind of what spirituality is, and things aren't like so random. You don't have to wait for something to happen. You can create things. You can call on the beings. You can feel them around you. You can talk to them when you need help or support. And I feel like that really blew my mind.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I love that. And I love that Metatron was the one that I feel like I've heard from a few people that was like, I found your Metatron video. Like Metatron is like, here you go. That's so funny. Yeah, that's amazing. So, okay, so that happened in 2020 and kind of like you started to recognize this like I guess we could call it deeper connection or relationship, right, with the angels and things like that. And so then as you continued on your path, at what point was it that you realized that you had a bigger kind of like calling or mission, or like how did that show up for you?
Wow, that's a good one. I really feel like it was immediate. Like once I started, like so in 2020, we had the shutdown and I had all these things happen like personally, and I started connecting with the angels. And I also at that time started working out like at home. And I found this link between whenever I worked out, I could like I had a clear connection with like the angels. And one day when I in the middle of working out one day, Jesus came forward and I didn't know it was him at the time. Like I just felt this presence that made me freeze. Like I just froze. Like I was in the middle of a workout and I was like, who is this? Like what is happening right now? And it was Jesus and Archangel Uriel. And they were telling me my purpose and how I'm supposed to, like support women and I have to empower women through my body and through the things that I learn and I do. And so it really happened really immediately. Like once you start connecting and I think once you're curious to know more, they want to tell you more. Like there's so
Right.
much information. So I think once you open your heart to, and it was really, really easy for me. Like I know a lot of people have a hard time like believing themselves. Like, can I trust my intuition? Can I believe what I'm hearing, what I'm receiving? But for me, I was just like, oh, okay, great. This is great. Let me do this.
Right.
Once they told me, I think because I have that perspective, it was really easy for them to just say, this is your purpose, like really quickly, like you're meant to do this. And that doesn't
Yeah.
mean that all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, I have a purpose. This is so easy and amazing. Let me, you know what I mean? Like, it's still just because you have a purpose doesn't mean you have the path, doesn't mean you
Right.
have like the destination or how it's going to unfold. And I
Yeah.
think, as humans, we can like hit that wall of, yeah, but what am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I love that you brought that forward because yeah, it is. It's like, and I remember for me too, it was like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. And also like, oh my, like all the like fear and like, how am I gonna do this? And what are people gonna think? And like all of that. Yeah, experiencing that as well. I think that's so common and like important to speak to in terms of that. So throughout that journey, kind of like 2020, and then like that connection started to get deeper and deeper. And then what happened next? Was there any like pivotal shift or moments like throughout those years as we get closer to like, we'll say the New York City, and then obviously after that coming into the healer program, like what do you feel was like a pivotal shift for you or something that happened that kind of launched you into that, so to speak? You know what I mean? Oh yeah, no worries. We'll edit that out.
I don't think, I mean, just kind of reviewing my life, I'm not really sure there was anything that happened, but there was like an ebb and flow, like between that time of like 2020 to 2025, there was like an ebb and flow of me living my life and like I didn't really for a while have any spiritual practices. I was just kind of living
Mm,
my life and calling on angels and believing in them and
yeah.
and then I felt like in 2025, actually, at the end of 2024, I remember this. This just hit me like the other night. At the end of 2024, I really felt the call to join a bigger container, right? So I started doing some research, like, well, what would I do then? And I met with this woman that I followed on social media. And we had like a meeting, and it was very, very bizarre. It was the weirdest. I mean, like her in person, I mean, we didn't meet in person, it was online, but her social media, like, face and her in-person face were just two complete, it was so bizarre. And I just left
Oh.
like, I'm definitely not doing this course. Like I and then I met with someone else and I was really excited with this second woman and I was like, oh, okay, but just nothing really solidified. But I
Mm,
remember when 2024 ended, I was like, I really want to step into my spirituality. I do want to, I felt like kind of stuck. Like I could see that I was using spirituality in real life, but like I had hit kind of like a limit or a wall. Like I wasn't growing, I was still surviving, and I wanted more than that. So that's how the year ended, and then I really feel like this year, like looking back on it, was my year of saying yes. Like
yeah.
spirit kept on nudging me, and I just kept on like, oh, all right, I'll show up, I'll do the things. Like I joined kickboxing, like that's super random. Like I started therapy, like just a whole bunch of little things. Like joined, I went and I met with people. I don't remember what that was, but I took my kids to more like events, like community events, so I could like meet people and talk to people. So it was a bunch of like, go here, go there. And I was just like, okay, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, that's
And I feel like that's
amazing.
part of it too.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. I 1,000% agree and resonate with that. How it really is us saying yes to the opportunities because otherwise, if we say no, what do? We just close ourselves off, right?
Yeah.
And we kind of stay in our bubble, which can feel familiar and safe and whatever, but then there's not much growth that happens and not much like expansion and what we get to learn about ourselves and develop within ourselves.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's so huge. And I'm so happy that all those things happened and that you came to New York City and we got to meet each other after knowing each other for so long, and you being part of the community and then being able to work more deeply together instead of the healer program. Like, that was next level. And I remember when you messaged me telling me that you're joining, I was like, yes, like, yes. I've been like that was just like so amazing. And so like what was your experience like going into it or how you felt before and kind of what shifted for you throughout or what was the biggest thing for you, would you say?
Well, I have, been following you like for years, like all this content. So I've seen like rounds of the healer program coming up, and it's always something that I looked at and I was like, oh my God, like that sounds so amazing. But for the first time, like when it came out this time, everything I was reading was just lighting me up from the inside. And I was like, I feel that this is what I need to do. It wasn't even like, I never heard spirit say, "Go do it, Larissa." It's just as soon as I read it, as soon as I connected with the opportunity or the invitation, I was just like, "Oh my God! Like this is for me. Like this is where I'm supposed to be." And I just felt so like excited. Like I said, like just even taking that trip to New York was such a big step, but it just opened my mind that this is possible. So I think I had to do that in order for
Right.
me to accept the invitation for the Healers Program. To know that, okay, I do have time, I do have the resources, we can do this, it is attainable, but it's like I had to prove it to myself first. And I think that's why Jesus was like, listen, you need to go to New York, and that's it. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to New York. That's fine. I'll do it, Jesus.
Yeah. Like if Jesus said it, then I'll do it.
Exactly. I'll be there. And actually, the really crazy, crazy, crazy part that I wanted to say about this is when I felt that, I felt it in my body and I was like, whoa, let me reach out to Christina. And then I sent you that message. And then you were like, go for it. And then I signed up and I was like, okay, we're doing it. Okay, this is the craziest story. So I signed up, and as soon as I signed up, my whole body started getting like tingly, and I felt Jesus come forward, right? And I felt like in that moment, I felt like my aura like expand, like it kind of like opened up in the room, and Jesus stepped forward and he said, listen, because you said yes to this, you're saying yes to mentoring with me, and I'm going to mentor you. And then he started talking to me about like hand
Whoa.
portals, and it's been an incredible journey. Like there's so many other things that have happened, and I feel like that's also something really, really important. I wanted to say that whenever you say yes to a really big step, your energy expands to meet that step. And it's like, it's more than just the healer program. It's like your awareness, your embodiment expands so you can like take up more of who you are. So it's like, even before the healer program started, Jesus was already like, okay, sit with me, write this, do this. And it's like the training began, you
Yeah.
know? So it's been such an incredible journey, and I just hope that for anyone who feels excited, about healing, about the healer program, that they'll know that it's so much bigger than just the program itself. It's your soul
Mhm.
saying yes to expansion. Your soul saying, "Oh my God, I'm ready. I'm ready to like burst free and experience things and do things differently." And I feel like that has been such a huge part of the journey also.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that story so much. And I love how, yeah, it's such a great way to describe that experience. Exactly like you said. It's more than just like, okay, I'm going to be in this course in this container. It's like what is happening on a spiritual level, on an energetic level that it feels like, yeah, it's a co-creative experience with the divine too, and
Yes.
yeah, I just really appreciate you for sharing that. It's such a cool story. I don't know that I knew that full like picture of like all that happened, which is
Yeah, no, I didn't tell anyone because part of what Jesus said was that for my integrity, there's certain things I have to keep within myself. But it just felt like the right
Oh.
time to say that,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah. Totally. I totally get that. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So now having gone through the program, what do you feel has most shifted within you? And also like where do you see yourself going from here too? And like what's come through for you in terms of your vision or your mission or like your gifts? Like how do you see that kind of now moving forward?
Well, I feel like number one is just like the expansion. It's just like your mind being open to the possibilities that exist. It's like, okay, so I had the time, I had the resources to do this program, to commit to 6 months and like meet, the other people in the group that I got really close to. I mean, that's such an important part also. But it's now like, whoa, where did 6 months go? How are we at the end? But also like, wow, like anything's possible moving forward. Like I did this. I never knew Larissa would be like part of the healers program, like people. And now it's like, whoa, like, okay, whatever I want to do next is what I can do next. And it just feels like it almost feels like the doors of your heart are like opening. Like it's just like, okay, it's like anything can happen next.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I have. I'm just going with, I'm going to continue saying yes to spirit, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, that's so powerful and that's so amazing. And I feel like, yeah, I mean that's the way to do it. It's just like whatever in the moment, the next step, the next breadcrumb, the next whatever that's revealed, you know what I mean? Where it's not like you necessarily have to have this huge grand plan of like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and this. Sometimes that comes up, but it's just knowing, I feel like also this how held and supported and guided you are. And also I think the other thing that is being reflected back is this trust in yourself and like
Yes.
like I can trust myself to say yes and I can trust
Yeah.
myself in expansion, and that's so powerful and so potent and like you said, it really literally can take you anywhere. Like
Yeah.
you can literally go anywhere with that energy and that shift within yourself. So that is so cool and so amazing. Now, one of the things that I want to also talk about is the soul blueprint sessions that you do now. And I know you've been doing them for a while, but like how has that shifted or changed? And also, can you share a little bit more about that? Because I feel like that's so interesting. And it's actually something that has come through. I don't know if it's in the same context of how you do them, but like Soul Blueprint has come up for me personally in terms of like things that they're saying, channeling, messages, all of that. So why don't you walk us through what that is and how you do those and anything else that you feel is relevant to share about that?
Wow. Back in like I either 2020, 2021, I did this Akashic record reading and I found out that I'm a soul blueprint deliverer. And I remember when I first heard that, I was like, what? Like, how am I supposed to deliver blueprints? I don't get it.
Yeah.
So, but I really, like, over, maybe like a year or something, I really sat with it and tried to understand what it was. And then I was getting, little breadcrumbs like, oh, I can do this, I can do this. Like, oh, also along the way, like between like 2020, 2022, I did a bunch of things. Like, I did like a Reiki certification. I did an Akashic Records thingy, like a bunch of things like that. Like I learned about tapping, palmistry, just lots of random things. And so finally, like after those couple of years and really sitting on what is a soul blueprint, I just decided, or I felt like through this is just like through my regular life. When I'm sitting with people, I get like messages and ideas. And then I realize that's what a soul blueprint is. Like as someone speaking, like when we think about like the obstacles that we face, right? And we face the same things over and over, maybe in different ways, different people, but I can hear it like when people are talking and I'm able to help people understand what those obstacles are, because I think sometimes we just need a little understanding, to see it from a different perspective. And then once we can see it that way, it's like, oh, okay. And then I'm able to like give next steps. So it's the same thing like working with spirit, with angels, with the Akashic records, and just supporting people with what comes through. So your soul blueprint, everyone has a soul blueprint. We came to life with like the vision our soul wants to experience. And so we can get caught up in all these day-to-day like problems we experience, right? All the same relationships, like all the same kind of coworkers, like these kind of things, and they can really suck up our energy because it's like we give so much energy to these problem points that we get stuck. We have no energy to do anything else. We're just focused on these problems. So in a soul blueprint session, I'm able to help people understand those obstacles and then give them next steps so they can just start moving forward. And something also that I've noticed is a lot of the next steps are very, very like sometimes they can seem very small. Like you're like, but how is that going to change my life? Like for
Right.
example, one thing that changed my life back in 2020, like I said, there was a lot of problems and I wanted to get out of my living situation, my career, all of it. And one thing that I did, I had a daily practice where I would do yoga and I would talk to a tree. Like I would open the window all the way, I would do yoga, I'd talk to the tree, and I'd think about, I'm going to have a house, I'm going to have a backyard, my kids are going to run around. And I just repeat those things while I did the yoga. And then throughout the day, I dealt with the same problems. I dealt with the same people. My life didn't change, but after the end of that year, I changed my life. Like I moved, I let go of that career, I got the house, I have the backyard. And I think that people think, that when you get an answer, when you get a next step, it's going to change your life like in a second. But you didn't create the life that you live in a second. Like you have to start mentally creating the life you want. It starts in your mind. So you have to create the practices that are going to create that change. And I think that's so important that people stick with those practices so that they can get the results that they want.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so huge. And I think you said a key word there. It's the practices because it's like I feel like the desire or the knowledge of like this potential thing or this type of life is different than like the actual practices that you put into place to make it a reality. You know what I mean? And so that's such a great example of that, of going through that. And I also just love so much how your soul blueprint sessions are there to support people through that process and helping them to understand maybe like what is keeping them stuck or what they're not seeing fully for what it is from a higher perspective to then be able to shift to then be able to step into what's next for them. And that's so amazing. I love that you offer that. And I'm so excited to be able to share that with the people listening today. So we have a special link. We have a special link with a special code that people can use to book a session. And so we'll leave that in the description below this video. But before we wrap up, is there anything that you feel people need to know today listening to this, just in terms of their path, in terms of their journey, in terms of what's next for them, if they're considering the healer program or anything else, like just in general of moving forward in life, anything that comes through for you that you feel called to share?
Well, what I'm receiving right now is that if you ever feel lost, there's so many beings around you that are waiting to guide you. Like, so if you feel lost, if you feel frustrated, there's so much support, like etherically, right? But if you're thinking about joining the healer program, it's like all that etheric support will come down into the physical world, like through Christina. Like, so if you're ever confused and you're just like, I'm not really sure if I trust my intuition or I'm receiving these messages, when you join, like Christina solidifies it all. Like, I remember I had asked you a question once. Oh, remember I was like having a problem with my leg and I kept on talking to my
Yeah.
leg, like, what's going on? And then you said something that blew my mind. I was like, I never even considered that. So, so I think, also on a spiritual journey, it's so important to trust ourselves, right? It's so, so important to get information from yourself. But I think along the way, there are times where it is the time to like kind of lean on other people. And I don't mean lean like I'm going to put all my strength on you and just give up. But there are times where we're able to lean on other people and to become stronger because of it. And I think that's what the healer program is. It's like helping you to see that you are strong, like you have all these gifts, like, and oh my gosh, like this program has so much information. So if you're curious about like past life feeling, ancestral healing, Akashic records, if you feel like you have like you can't trust yourself, you have imposter syndrome, like this is 6 months, like 6 months. It is like the container to get clear on who you are, on what you do, on what your gifts are. And not only that, like you get to do it with Christina, who like I don't know about anyone else, but I completely trust Christina. Like anything she says, I'm just like, yep, you got it. That's true. But then there's also like a group. And like I'm pretty like a solitary person, but like having the group too, and like being with everyone, like everyone went through a journey like in this 6 month. We all did. And it's also so crazy that even though we have like vastly different lives, there were so many like things, synchronicities in between all of our lives that we were going through. So I think like that part was also so powerful, but it is all about like your life is about you. And if you're ready to know who you are and what you do, and if you're ready to be part of a community that feels safe for you to kind of like spill your guts a little bit, to really open up and like explore yourself, and feel safe with Christina's leadership and guidance, like it is the place where you will find yourself. And even if you're not lost, like you don't have to be lost, but if you want to find yourself even deeper, like this is the place for you. It's incredible. I cannot speak about it enough. Like it's incredible.
Oh my gosh, Larissa, thank you so much for sharing that. And yeah, I can't even put into words. I am so appreciative of you reflecting that because that's always kind of been my intention and my desire and like my hope for people to experience that. And I always say, like, I'm not here to guide you through a cookie cutter, like, this is how you do things, and like, be like me or something, you know? I'm always like, I want you to be you and to find you and to feel trusting and confident in all the things in you. And what you shared reflected that. And it's just like so important, valuable feedback too. And I'm so happy that like the intention that I put out, the angels are like, yes, we're doing this. So thank you so much. And for saying yes to that experience and for sharing about that. And it's just so, so amazing to witness you now on the other side of it. Like, yeah, 6 months later, blowing my mind. Like, how has it been six
Yeah,
months?
time flew.
6 months later, and now here on this journey, like I am so excited to see what else comes and how you continue to grow and continue to expand on your journey and continue to elevate into your true self and elevate other people through your work, through your healing gifts, your divine soul light. And it's just like so heartwarming to witness that and experience that. And I just love it so much. I love it. I feel like our souls knew each other in a past life, and it's just like we're here together, and it's so cool. I just love it. I feel like a lot of souls are coming back and like, hey, we see each other again. Like, I'm so happy to see you again. Like, we get to do this again. Like, how cool is that? You know? So it's really cool to kind of notice that with like different connections and people and all of that. So I just want to say once again, thank you so much for coming on here, for sharing about your journey, about your experience, and also offering a special offer for people to experience your divine connection and to receive guidance for their journey through a soul blueprint session. So again, the information is going to be in the description below this video for those of you who are interested to check that out. I highly recommend it. Larissa is amazing. There's been so many times where we've talked or you shared something and it's just like through conversation, you say something, I'm like, oh my God, like, yes, like, you know, so it's kind of cool how we're able to kind of like reflect that back to each other, you know, and I've definitely experienced Larissa's channeling and it's amazing and so powerful. So I love this so much. So thank you once again. I just want to give you big virtual hugs right now. And yeah. I'm just gonna hug the screen and hopefully get to hug you again in like in real life again soon. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful I was able to be a part of this journey and experience.
Yeah, it was so good. So, so good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And for those of you watching, go check out all the things in the description. And as always, sending you so much love and angel blessings. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, that was an amazing conversation. I loved it so much and just so grateful to be able to have these conversations and these experiences with past students of the Healer program. And so if something within this whole conversation spoke to you, if you could relate to that experience of just wanting to find your true self, wanting to step deeper into your path, your purpose, your gifts, all of the things. And of course, if you love the angels, then the Healer program is such a powerful experience for you to step into those things, for you to unravel what was not you, to be able to come back to your true self, your divine identity as a healer, as a light worker. And so if you're interested in joining, all of the details are below. You can find all of the information, the course, curriculum, and more. And I am just so thrilled to be able to share this with you. And if this resonates, if you're joining, then I cannot wait to walk the path with you. I'm sending you so much love and angel blessings. Bye.